What are some questions facing the Cubs right now? We talk about them next.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making Locked On Cubs your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day, like the video, and comment anything below. Today's episode is presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets. Guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com/locked on to get started. Wanted to remind everyone, whenever and wherever you may be listening, no game coverage on this Wednesday episode as we're in the matrix of recording here. Tuesday's game has not even been played yet. So we're recording prior to Cubs D-backs Tuesday night. We'll be back to game coverage shortly following Wednesday's game, which is an odd time of 2:40 Central, but we will be live, I do believe. Right, Sam? We're going to be live after that one?
Yeah. I get home a little bit, later, so we'll talk about the time on that.
Right.
But yeah, we'll be live after that.
We'll be live maybe in the 6 p.m. hour.
Yeah, something like
Central,
that.
Maybe 6 Central.
Yeah, probably one more up.
Okay, maybe 7.
Yeah.
Maybe we just do an on-demand episode for Thursday.
So. Yeah, so I'll probably be home right about 6:30.
Okay, all right. Well, maybe we should just restart this show.
We're good, man.
No, we're good. But this is an on-demand episode, no game coverage. We're trying it out, and quite frankly, it's plenty justified because there's so much to talk about with this team. It doesn't necessarily need to be hinged on a game. Monday was a thriller. It was very exciting. It was nauseating at times, but what a joyful win as the Cubs entered Tuesday's action at 10-6 overall. But Sam, I have 3 questions in front of me, and I think these are topical and really relevant to what's happening right now. And the biggest one for me is about Seiya Suzuki's absence. We learned before Tuesday's game that Seiya is going to be in about that 4-week timeline as the thunder rolls here in the Western Burbs through my headphones, which means it's pretty loud. And so my question to you is, who needs to step up the most in this 4-week or so absence?
Yeah, I think I'm going to plead the fifth and go the council route on this and just say,
really?
I don't think there's a one individual that I look at. I think it needs to be, handled collectively.
Okay, team effort, you might say.
Yeah, I will say, though, over the next week on schedule, the Cubs are scheduled to face 4 Southpaws.
Wow.
And that is, that is where Seiya thrives, the most. As against lefties. So I would say in that regard, against lefties, I think Garrett Cooper and Alexander Canario will really have to take the reins and deliver against those pitchers. I don't think there's one specific guy. I think if, we're obviously recording before game time here, but I'd feel a whole lot better if Ian Happ hit a long ball.
He's the guy for me.
Yeah, I'd like to see Cody Bellinger. I'm really interested to watch Cody Bellinger Tuesday evening because I thought Monday evening was just a small step forward, so that could be good news.
That's good.
But I think the answer is a little bit of everybody. You can't have, as you do right now, Bellinger, Morel, Swanson, Horner, Happ, all scuffling at once when you're missing Seiya Suzuki. But as we've seen in the past with these guys, they usually get hot together. They usually get cold together. So I'm sure a hot streak's coming. And honestly, 4 weeks in the grand scheme of a 162-game campaign is not a long time. And so if they could just grind it out and have like 1-2 week stretch where they're great offensively, like they had one to start the year, it won't be a brutal absence to have to overcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Ian Happ is the name that came to mind right away. Cody Bellinger and Dansby Swanson would be second and third on my list. And I think it is easy and it is fair to say that the entirety of the position player group needs to step up. But for me, it's really down to Happ, Bellinger, and Swanson. And I do think there's some other factors here too. If Nico Horner ascends like we expect, then the lineup will be in better shape. Michael Bush has been outstanding. Christopher Morel has been up and down. He entered Tuesday's game 0 for his last 20 with 7 strikeouts. So the up and down nature of the lineup right now, sure, it's part of the game. But I do think, as you say, collectively, they do need to turn a corner. And I think that turn the corner game was Monday for Horner. And I'm excited to see how he does the rest of the week, especially if there is that many lefties on the bump opposing the Cubs this week. I got question 2 right here.
Let's do it.
Question 2 is this one to me is the most interesting one that I could kind of get my roster hat on with. Okay.
Sure.
Will Ben Brown remain with the team
Mm-hmm.
when Jamison Tyone returns?
Yes.
Okay.
We
could also put Justin Steele in there later on too.
I think it would be a disservice to the fan base if Ben Brown. No, I mean, how can you send down a guy that last night, Monday evening, threw? Is it fair to say, outside of maybe opening day Imanaga, threw the best game of the year for the
best
team?
game of the year? And let me just give you this before you keep going.
Sure.
Outside of his surprise debut in the second game of the campaign, here's Ben Brown. 14 and 2/3, 7 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 14 strikeouts.
Yeah, and that debut didn't even hurt the Cubs. They were already down
Right.
a ton, so it's ridiculous. It shouldn't even. Yeah, he has to. They have so much needs at that spot, whether it's reliever or starter.
Right.
I think if Kyle Hendricks continues to scuffle, if he pitches bad Tuesday night, the volume on that's going to be raised. But to me, how can you have? And I mean, no disrespect, but how can you have a guy like Palencia on the roster and not Ben Brown? With the way Ben Brown has looked like he can help this team. Now, I understand the counterpoint is development. We want him stretched out. But right now, this team has a need. So we'll worry about that later. He could help us right now.
And I think he can really help in the bullpen. Yeah. Imagine a world with Tyone and Steele healthy, and you have Assad in the 5th, 6th, or 7th. You have Brown in the 6th, 7th, or 8th. I mean, imagine the possibilities. And Brown in 1 inning increments, it would really get you excited. He misses bats. He's so valuable, and I would almost say especially so in a bullpen role if it shakes out the way it's supposed to this year. But as a starter, he has turned heads, and for a young rookie like that to be doing that, only 3-4 appearances in. That's great news. I would like to see him actually lead off the Astros series on Tuesday next week because you have Tyone Thursday, Imanaga, Assad, and then I guess Hendricks at a Wrigley start. You probably want him to face the Marlins, the Fish, instead of the Astros. You give Ben Brown more time off. Maybe he leads off that series. Just an idea.
Yeah.
Okay, just an idea. Okay, right? Send an email to Jed Hoyer. Okay, don't save your comments, okay? No, but it helps the algorithm. And finally, Sam, number 3, will this bullpen improve?
Yes, it will. It will. It can't not.
Okay.
Because if it doesn't, you and I will be doing a show from, the Caribbean or something.
Well, just a reminder, Julian Merriweather, the setup man in the 7th or 8th, out till mid-June.
No, I know that. Well, I think your question 2 and question 3 are actually kind of first or second cousins because if Ben Brown goes to the bullpen, there's an improvement right there. But yes, Hector Neris can't be this bad as he's been.
Yeah, it's well documented how bad he's been.
Jose Cuas is now off the roster, so that was something that was holding you back.
Right.
They will improve. They will improve, and they will figure it out. I think out of all three questions, I think that's the easiest one to answer. And since we are
What?
since we are doing a show before first pitch on Tuesday night, I'd like
Yeah.
to make my second bold prediction of the season.
And this is about Tuesday's game.
Yes.
Okay, so this will
So
be
if you're
interesting for the listener. Go ahead.
so if you're keeping track, I'm 1-0 so far.
Oh, you made one prediction. All right.
Yeah. Remember the bold one.
The bold prediction that the Cubs would beat the Dodgers on that Friday.
Yeah, Kyle Hendricks over Bobby Miller. Left on left tonight. Cody Bellinger's going to hit a home run.
I hope so.
That's my bold prediction. A Cody Bellinger anytime homer. Get that bet in FanDuel if you could retroactively do that this morning.
You can't. So, wow. I hope that happens. Yeah. I will. I'll make sure to verify on Thursday's episode if that indeed does come true. Cubs entered Tuesday with a bullpen ERA of 4.30 and a fourth worst in the majors in walks per nine at 4.96. So there you have it. That's the bullpen right now.
You think they're going to improve, don't you?
I do. I do have questions about Alzolay as a lockdown closer.
Yep.
Leiter's been tremendous. Smiley's been good. Thompson has been fantastic back with the big club. Maybe he could be an X factor. So I do think they'll improve. And they might have some company pretty soon in the form of a 33-year-old veteran pitcher that was on none of our radars. Julio Teheran, former Braves prospect. We're going to talk about him coming up next. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app. It's the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. Pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and then watch the winnings roll in. Baseball season is officially underway, so don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Picks entries, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your Prize Picks entry. Prize Picks is really simple to play, with your entries taking less than 60 seconds to submit, turning $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps of your screen. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's a first deposit match up to $100 by using code LOCKEDONMLB. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app.
Today's episode is also brought to you by Monopoly Go. We've all been there, Matthew. You have, I have, players, fans. It's halftime and the scoreboard is not looking good. You're feeling low. Not sure you or your team can pull out a win. Lord knows I felt that way a couple times this season. That's when you dig deep, lift your head up and say to yourself, time to get back in the game, pull off some bank heists and take as much of my friend's money as I possibly can. That's right. The smash hit mobile game Monopoly Go lets you compete with your friends to get the most riches and the biggest empire. It's the Monopoly you love, but on your phone anytime with tons of new twists, including leaderboards to compare your progress to your buddies. There's so much to do. Play on countless dynamic Monopoly boards, make your friends bankrupt by smashing their landmarks with a wrecking ball, and charge other players rent for your iconic properties. You can even work with your friends and crack open community chests and into tournaments to get extra rewards and climb the leaderboard. So get back out there, put on your game face, and download Monopoly Go, now free on the Apple or Google Play Store.
It's time for Locked On's NFL Mock Draft Live, available today, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central on the Locked On Sports Today 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube or Amazon Fire TV. Find the ultimate 6-episode series to hear who the local Locked On experts are picking for every NFL franchise, with reactions from local college football experts and even the fantasy football angle. The Locked On NFL Mock Draft Show, live 6 p.m. Central today, Wednesday, on the Locked On Sports Today 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube or Amazon Fire TV. And the Cubs play the Diamondbacks at 2:40 p.m. Central on Wednesday, and you can hear every pitch of the Cubs' hometown broadcast on SiriusXM by searching Cubs on the SXM app. after being designated for assignment by the Mets last week. Pitcher Julio, what's the pronunciation, Sam?
I think it's Tehran, but I'm not sure.
Julio Teheran has
No,
been
that's
picked up
not
by the
it.
Cubs. What is it again?
I think it's Tehran.
Teheran.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Julio Teheran
but I'm not. I mean,
has
I'm
been
not.
picked
I
up
don't know.
by the Cubs on a minor league deal. He is a 33-year-old right-hander who was the former top prospect with the Braves back in the 2010s. Teheran has not had a solid season since 2019 and made just one appearance with the Mets this spring after signing a one-year deal with them in the offseason. Pitched for the Brewers last year, Sam, so he's familiar with Craig Counsell. I was going to say, make no mistake, this is purely a depth move, as he is going to report to AAA Iowa and join their starting rotation. But then Jed Hoyer was on 670 The Score on Tuesday and said that Teheran is going to be in the mix out of the bullpen potentially as soon as the next couple of weeks. So possible depth, sure, in the rotation, but also maybe some relief help. And more specifically, what Hoyer was talking about was bulk relief help. Interesting, right?
No.
No,
But
not really.
no, it's not interesting. But I
It's
think
newsworthy, though.
it's noteworthy for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's newsworthy. Yeah.
I would say, yeah. So Tehran actually got off to a really nice start last year with the Brewers, and then
Okay.
and then it kind of cratered after that. But I like the move, and it has nothing to do with the player per se. It's just the urgency. Hey, we're short some guys right now. We could use some help, and so we may not see a ton of him, but even if he came up and gave us 2-3 outings in blowouts and just 8 innings, those things, you don't see those in the scorebooks, but not having to burn your high leverage guys, that helps. So I like that the Cubs are being aggressive and adding depth to a position spot that's weak. More than that, I mean, Julio, Teheran had some success very long time ago, as you mentioned. He
Yes.
hasn't been great since. I know he's kind of turned into a major pitch to contact guy, but I don't think he'll have a major role on this team. But some sort of cleanup aspiration there.
Well, and I did find something in his Brewers stat line from 2023. And again, I don't know what leverage this was in, but he did make 3 appearances as a reliever last year
Okay.
up north, and he went 9 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 6 Ks.
Okay, there's something right there.
A small sample, but he was okay in that sample nonetheless. You know who's one person to be excited about 100%? I was going to say by a lot, and maybe even then some.
Does his
I
last
don't like when people say 110%. Okay, it only goes up to 100.
Does his last name rhyme with Claw?
Yes, it does. That's top prospect Matt Shaw. We're excited to talk about him next. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The sports calendar is loaded, and FanDuel's making it even more exciting to get in on the action, because right now, new customers get $200. Wow, $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. It's $200 you can use to bet the tourney, MLB, NBA, NHL, and so much more. And Sam, Wednesday's game, that's going to be Jordan W. Wicks. I just made up his middle initial, but it's going to be Jordan Wicks against Brandon. I believe the pronunciation is it Fat?
I believe so. Yes,
Brandon Fat. And the Diamondbacks, as of press time, as we say in the media biz, are just at minus 120. Okay, not nothing crazy. And I think the Cubs, that will be either a rubber matchup or a sweep opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So Jordan W. Wicks against Brandon Fat. And that's going to be the series finale in the deserts. And you can visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a big win. FanDuel, the official partner of the Locked On Podcast Network. Wrapping up this Wednesday episode with Matt Shaw, who's already impressing as the everyday third baseman for the AA Tennessee Smokies, and has everybody thinking of a promotion possibly as soon as next month to AAA Iowa. Shaw right now in 29 plate appearances. Let's have some fun with small samples. Slashing 381, 552, 905 with 3 home runs. Shaw has been the real deal so far this spring, Sam.
He's the guy. He's the guy.
Is.
It's not the first. It's not the last time you're going to hear this on this show. PCA, Owen Casey, Cade Horton, who threw beautifully Tuesday night once again.
Oh, good.
All guys to be excited about. That's my guy, though, Matt Shaw. I think he's got a chance to do something special for this team. And I got to be honest with you. I think his bat's big league ready. Wow. I think the holdup is just trying to get him comfortable at third base. They're doing the Morel thing over at third, and seeing some improvements there. Matt Shaw's bat is big league ready, folks. And I don't think it's going to be terribly long until he's up at the 3A level. And right. I don't think it's going to be terribly long if he continues to gets reps defensively until he's ready to be at the big league level. And of course, you never want this or wish this, but if there is some sort of injury in the middle infield or whatever, they may speed him up because he probably can play second already at this level.
I think so.
You know, I will set the over under July 4th for Matt Shaw, and I think
Independence Day.
And I think, I think there could be some action on the under. I think the favorite's the over, but he will be up at some point this year if he continues to perform like this, and he will climb in. He might be the best bat, like not only is he the best bat in the system, but I'm not sure that there's 3-4 guys on the Cubs currently that have a better bat than Matt Shaw.
That's really exciting. I do.
Maybe Suzuki and Bush and, Happ and Bellinger's pedigree, maybe.
And that's it.
Maybe.
So he would be 4th or 5th right away.
Maybe.
Not in the order, but talent.
He might hit second right away.
Swing talent. Can you imagine debuting
this guy can really hit, man.
Well, imagine him as a 9-hitter on a playoff squad.
Oh, well, he there is no world where he'll ever hit. He wouldn't hit 9th on the 27 Yanks.
Oh, stop it.
You know what I mean? He ain't no 9-hitter, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
Of course I do. Can I just have a little fun? I'm exhausted.
You can't. You're not allowed. But I'm sure they'll ease Shaw in. Wow, I would love to see him in June.
No, he is.
I'm getting greedy, but yeah.
I said it in spring training, and the numbers didn't really back it up. But man, does he? I'm just pulling up the box from today to see if he did anything today. But man, can this young man hit the baseball? He's one for 3 today.
381, 552, 905 right now.
He's 1 for 3 today with an RBI and a walk. He's hitting 375 now.
Wow, crazy.
See you in AAA in a couple weeks, Matt.
We'll be back after Wednesday's game, either live with you in the evening time or on regular time to your audio and video feed on Thursday morning. Thank you so much for checking out this edition of Locked On Cubs. You give us 20 to 30 minutes. We'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube, smash the like button for the algorithm, and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcast. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
Go Cubs.